We are officially debt-free outside of the mortgage. It feels amazing that we accomplished this huge goal that we set out for ourselves, and this is just the beginning. Once Dave and I decided that we were going to pay off all of our consumer debt, we spent over a year side hustling, cutting our expenses, picking up extra jobs, doing whatever we had to do to eliminate that debt. And here we are. We finally accomplished that goal, and it is such a blessing. It really is such a weight lifted off of us, and it feels liberating. We don't owe anyone anything. We don't have debt payments to make every single month. Life is expensive enough just to pay all of the bills, let alone have to make extra debt payments. So now, what's the next step? Where do we go from here? When we decided to pay off our debt, we chose to follow Dave Ramsey's baby steps. I'm not advocating for this method. This is just the system that we chose to use. And the reason being was I was going down the rabbit hole of YouTube and debt payoff and motivation, and I loved the debt-free screams, and it was so encouraging to see all of these people who were tackling an even bigger mountain of debt, and they were able to do it. That encouraged me that we could do it too. When I was feeling discouraged and overwhelmed, I was able to watch these videos, and it kept me motivated. I figured his system helped thousands, if not millions of people, and it was a proven method. So it was easy for me to just say, okay, this is what we're gonna follow. I spoke with my husband, he was in agreement. I showed him lots of videos first to kind of get him on board and show him what that process looked like to make sure that we were aligned. But we didn't have to think too much about how we were gonna do this. We just wanted to follow a proven system and follow the steps that were laid out in front of us. So if you're not familiar, I'm gonna give you a quick recap on what the steps are and tell you where we are right now. Step number 1 is get a starter emergency fund. There's a statistic that says most Americans cannot cover a $1,000 emergency. So that was the first step, getting $1,000 in a separate account to cover an unexpected emergency, such as a flat tire or a small medical bill. Something that could derail you if you're not prepared, and that would be really discouraging when you're trying to focus on your finances and pay off debt. For us, we did have that money available, so we just assigned it into a different account and forgot about it, acted it as if that wasn't even there, and we moved on to step number 2. Step number 2 is the big one. It's to pay off all of your consumer debt. This does remove your mortgage, but anything else would be lumped into this step. Student loans, credit card payments, personal loans. This all gets wrapped up into step number 2. And this was the step that we had just completed. If you want to know how we tackled our 40K in debt, I do have videos linked in this playlist, and you can check those out after this one. There are so many videos on YouTube talking about the debt-free journey and the process of paying off debt. And those are so amazing and encouraging. And I've watched a ton of them. But after we paid off our debt, I searched YouTube and I was checking for videos to show people in that middle stage where they had just paid off their debt, but they weren't quite ready to start investing heavily. That's where we are right now. And I don't want to discredit being debt-free and what a huge accomplishment that is, but I want to be transparent and show the reality of this in-between phase. We don't quite have our emergency fund set up yet. We're not ready to invest heavily, and I'm going to share the reality of what this stage looks like. Step number 3 is to save 3 to 6 months of expenses. This is going to vary by family to family, person to person, and your individual situation. You can choose what works best for you. Do you feel comfortable? Are you prepared to have 3 months of your living expenses in an account, or would you feel more comfortable having closer to 6 months? You could have 4, you could have 5. We are a family of 5, myself, my husband, and our 3 little girls. Our goal is to build up a 6-month emergency fund. We want to have a little bit more in our emergency fund just in case the worst case scenario. It's been a few months since we've paid off our debt, and right now we're not quite at that 3-month emergency milestone. Maybe you're a dual income household and you decide that 3 months of living expenses is more than enough. That's why personal finance is so personal. Everyone's situation is going to look very different. I'm very much a goal-oriented person. I like to have a checklist. I like to always be thinking about the next step, the next thing, almost to a detriment. Dave has been able to enjoy this debt-free stage in our life, and my mind is already moving on to the next goal. When we first started baby step number 3, I felt overwhelmed. I felt a little discouraged, and I also felt like we have been working so hard to get to this point, which I'm so grateful we were able to pay off our last debt, but it was a short-lived victory. Then I just looked at this next huge goal of saving thousands of dollars, and I felt as though I couldn't even take a breath. It was overwhelming, and I don't think that people share this part enough about the journey. It was really discouraging to feel like, okay, when are we going to get a break? We've been budgeting and sacrificing, side hustling, and working really hard and working long hours. When were we going to be able to take our foot off the gas? During this time, life was still happening. We had small medical bills pop up. We've had repairs in the house that we weren't anticipating. And I'm so grateful that we were able to cash flow these things. But at the same time, that was slowly taking away from our goal of building up that emergency fund. We're finding ourselves in this tricky situation where we want to move forward, but you almost feel like you're standing still or even taking a step back at times. Progress and growth is not linear. And I have to remind myself this. The best way that I've been able to keep that in the forefront of my mind is by looking back at the previous months. I still have access to our budget, so I'm able to go click through previous months and see our numbers and see our progress, and how maybe one month was tight and the next month we had an unexpected blessing, or I made a little extra commission that month, or we had made a bigger bonus, or whatever it was. That overall, we are moving in the right direction. We are hitting our goals, even if in the moment you don't see the success that you want to. And if it's not on our timeline, our preferred timeline. So this is just a reminder to myself. If we keep taking the steps and we keep moving in the right direction, we will make progress and we will hit those goals that we had set for ourselves. I've shared with you guys that I am very goal-oriented, and sometimes I need to just put a pause on that and step back and live in the moment and not always jump to the next thing. I know that about myself, and I'm working on slowing down and being more present. It's easy to look at the baby steps as a checklist, and that's exactly what I've done. But now I'm reframing it and looking at it more as guardrails. We absolutely plan on investing. We absolutely want to set up our children for success, whether that looks like college or seed money to start a business. But I can't get ahead of myself, because that's when I just feel overwhelmed and discouraged. Right now, in this moment, we are celebrating our small wins, our daily success, and the fact that we are getting one step closer and 1% better every single day. If you can relate, I'm so glad you're here. Drop the money emoji below so I know that I am not alone. Don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you guys on the next video. Bye.